Looking at Danny's hair, does it kind of remind you of Chumley?
Listen, motherfucker. I'll be quiet.
Missing someone.
Welcome back to another episode of Impulsive Thoughts, and Donnie's looking at Drake's third leg. And I'm joined here with, only some of my favorite co-hosts. Alli is absent tonight. It's been a long day for her, especially going back to work and after getting over the flu and everything like that. So we'll excuse her.
I'll allow it.
So,
I know the truth is she's just trying to avoid me even longer.
I mean, she had a week off from Danny. She didn't want to...
It's been more than a week since I've seen her.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
It's probably been a month or longer.
Oh, yeah, because last week...
She wasn't here when I did my thing.
I wasn't here either.
Yeah, you were
No,
here.
Danny wasn't here when you did your...
Yeah, I was in Puerto Rico for a week. Last week I wasn't here. The week before that I wasn't here.
Yeah, last week was her episode. The week before was your episode.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's been about a month.
Yeah. Holy shit. But yeah, Dan.
That's me.
Actually, I'm joined here with Dan.
Hi there, everybody.
And I'm joined here with Donnie Rowe.
Hello.
I've taken time off to take... I took voice classes to train for my professional job as a podcaster. I'm quitting Roscoe. Breaking news.
Oh, his family's about to hit the poorhouse.
Lupe's getting promoted to district manager.
God, no. Too much responsibility for my ass. It's bad enough I have to take care of one heavy-ass route. I'm not taking care of 4 others.
Glorified babysitter.
No, thank you.
5 grown men that I gotta treat like toddlers.
Funny thing is, you don't treat me like a toddler.
No. I try to treat you guys all with respect. Sometimes, and you're gonna make a joke, but sometimes the asshole in me comes out and I'm like, fucking kidding me? What is this shit? But I try to...
Yeah, me and Dan have been at each other's throats.
Yeah, but I have to be a professional, and that's the good thing about it being a family company is, we can get away with some shit, but I need to be respectful and not sometimes say the things I want to say.
Yeah, I guess I kind of say the same thing when I blow up on Danny.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you fucking lazy piece of shit, or whatever the fuck I say.
I don't think you've ever gone that hard. You've gone close. Not that far, though.
No, I think I've said, do your fucking job. I think that's the worst I've said.
You don't do fucking anything anyways. That maybe was it, something like that. Yeah. That's the tough thing when friends work together.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough.
Well, me and you've had that talk when you first got hired. Like, yeah, we have to keep...
We have to keep it separate.
And personal. And yeah, that was about 3, 4, 5 months ago where it leaked together and we weren't talking at work or off work.
Yeah. For a good week and a half.
Yep. Saddest time of my life.
Don was like, is Dan ever going to come back to the pod?
Yes.
Alli was like, woo!
Yeah. Then I came back and she was sad. And all of a sudden she had migraines again. She hadn't had them for a while.
So anyway. I believe you have an episode for us.
I do. So, before I get into my episode...
Actually, before you get into anything, when you had told me you weren't telling us after I told you what I was going to do, first thing that popped in my head was what was it, Black Dahlia murders?
Ooh, I'm not doing that one.
Oh, okay. I was wrong then.
So I did change, like I said, I gave you a hint of what the one I've been working on for a while is. And I'll give the hint now that everyone, and I don't care who guesses, I'll keep a stone face. I'm not going to say yes or no. I believe this guy's top 5, 10 of serial killer true crime story podcast world. I don't know if I've heard a lot about him, but people know him. You hear his name, you know him. But in doing my research, I don't know if I'd classify him as a serial killer because I don't know if he has more than one kill to his name. And I'm leaving it like that.
Richard Kuklinski,
I don't even know who that is.
the Iceman.
Oh, and I gave more away by saying him, where before I just told you it's a serial killer.
Yeah,
Now I narrowed it down to at least a person. But that's all I'm saying. But because, like I had told Lupe this morning at work, I don't feel my research is in the right order, and I want to do it more justice than I did Eliza Lamb. I wanted to have it flow right, so I switched it up, and I wrote a new one today. And I'm proud of this one because I don't know if all of you know this. February 3rd is National Missing Persons Day, so I'm going that route. I'm talking about missing people, and so I have a lot of stats of missing people, and then I have it's a website I found that's the top 10 most famous missing people cases. But I call bullshit on this website, and this is where I told you I want to give Alli some props. They don't mention Bryce Lespisa at all in their top 10.
Oh, interesting.
So, thinkers out there, if you have not listened to Alli's 2-part episode on that, August 7th of 23 and August 14th of 23, episodes 65 and 66, do yourself a favor and listen to it. It's fucking riveting, and it makes you pull your hair out, and it's just amazing.
That one really kept us on our toes.
Jesse was, and everyone. I think we had a lot of interaction
Matter
from
of fact,
people on Facebook.
I think even a few weeks after, when you had one of your poker nights, me, Carissa, Alli, and Jesse talked about that episode, and Logan's girlfriend.
Yeah, Marisol.
Marisol, yeah.
So, guys,
sorry, Marisol, I keep forgetting your name for some reason.
Do yourselves a favor, and if you have not listened to those two yet, like I said, I'll give major props to Alli. We all were like, we want the second episode now. And we had to wait a week for it. So, so that to me, again, maybe recency bias, maybe podcast bias is I think that's one of the top cases that is unsolved too. So, but before I get into my case, I wanted to give a follow up. I haven't been on here in a while. After I broke down crying about Logan going away and maybe going away. Logan has officially signed his papers. He is he's in the Army. He's not in yet, but he's signed his papers. He's officially joined the Army. He will be shipping to boot camp April 22nd. Now, the importance of that is originally they said they wanted him to leave, like it was like March 3rd or 4th, like real quick. But he said, I need to find a different ship date. My sister turns 21 April 18th. I want to be home to hang out with my sister and party with her. So that being said, April 18th, Rain will turn 21. We're having a little party. You've been invited. You guys have been invited. It's a Thursday night, which it sucks for everyone that works on a Friday, but it's kind of an unofficial going away / 21st birthday for Rain. And then that weekend, we're supposed to be in Nashville all weekend to kind of like a last hurrah. Here, Rain's 21 and Logan's going away. So anyone in podcast world, if you know my son, if you know me, and if you want to say goodbye to him before he goes to the Army, April 18th, Dave and Buster's in Orland Park. So,
or even throw some shout outs on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah. So he's decided on his career is going to be combat medic. So he'll leave, like I said, April 22nd. Boot camp is in Fort Sill in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I think boot camps or basics 12 or 10 weeks long. So there'll be a graduation 10 weeks after that. 12-hour drive, I found out. We're on to go there. From there, he goes to his, I forgot what the actual term they use, but his job training. And I believe for combat medic, it's 22 weeks, maybe. And that will be in, I believe, San Antonio, Texas. And then, guess where he gets to go for 4 years? I know you know already.
Yeah.
This guy, poor Logan.
Sounds very sarcastic.
Has to go to Hawaii for 4 years.
Oh, darn.
At least that's what they say now. I know anything can change. But, and said I make jokes of it to keep myself from, breaking down again. Like, oh my God, my boy's joining. Because me and you have talked, and I've said it's, he's a grown man. He's 22 years old. He's not my little boy at home anymore. And he has his own job, his girlfriend. He doesn't live with me, but it's different from knowing he's a phone call away and a 35, 40-minute drive away than a flight, and he's in the Army and this and that. And then last weekend watching the news for the first time in forever, and the first thing I see is, the U.S. bombed Syria. I'm like, this is fucking great. He signs up for the Army, and now we're bombing people. I don't either. News, so. And the first time I do, fucking we're bombing Syria. I'm like, this is great. This is just what I need to know. So he did say, which I'm proud of him, he wants to, because, you can't just say I'm going to do it. You got to apply for it, and if your scores are good enough, he wants to try to go into Special Forces, which is the Green Berets for the Army.
Oh, shit.
So, good for him if he wants to, but that's scared. Like, I'm proud of that, but also, if he gets into that, scared shitless, because...
That's a fun line.
Those are like, the Marines, the Navy SEALs and all, those are the first ones in, and the ones that do the secret co-ops where if they die, you don't know they die because they don't tell you about it because they were on a mission nobody's supposed to know about. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck.
That's crazy.
Let's get to boot camp first and through his training first, go from there, but... Anyways, that's my update on the log man. It's official. Everyone knows. He, so.
Looking at Danny's hair, does it kind of remind you of Chumlee?
Listen, motherfucker. So, speaking of my hair.
That's all I've been concentrating on the last
Contemplating? Did you say contemplating?
I said concentrating.
Oh, concentrating. So that I was going to tell you earlier, too, so...
Can I take a picture and send it to Jamie and say that?
She will she threatens to cut my hair in my sleep. So that's the thing. So going to Puerto Rico, there was only two things I wanted to do. Two things. I wanted to go to one of the bioluminescent bays. Of course, the week we're there is a full moon, and they close them down for 3 days because you need it to be darker, and you can't see all the bioluminescence when it's brighter out. So then do that. The second thing I wanted to do was get my hair braided. Jamie's like, she goes, if you get your hair braided, will you cut your hair when you get home? I said, no, but she, for some reason thought I was going to anyways. The place we were staying at in San Juan had a hair braider on premises, and the Friday they had a special, 1 to 4 o'clock, come in and hair braiding. It was like discounted, blah, blah, blah. I go there like 3 o'clock. I walk over there. Hey, I'm here to see, I forgot what their name was. And the girls, it was at the spa area, and they're like, oh, she's not here. I'm like, but it says hair braiding from 1 to 4. Oh, you need to call her and set an appointment, and she could be here between 1 and 4. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So the only two things I want to do in Puerto Rico, I didn't get to do. That's why I have to go back again.
Yeah, that's why you have to go back again.
I think there's more of me in Puerto Rico than, I shed skin everywhere there. I was peeling so bad.
Ew. There's a whole Danny-sized, skin.
There is. No, a snake skin. There's
shedded.
I'm still, if you still look, I'm still peeling a little bit on my arms. My feet are still peeling. It's been 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And I'm still peeling.
You said what, April 18th?
April 18th is, yes, sir. Rain's 21st, and Logan's going away. Pate.
Okay.
So, I guess to get back.
Out of my head.
Huh?
I can't get it out of my head.
Listen.
What, him shedding?
No, Chumlee.
Oh.
I am not. Oh my God! What the hell? Yeah, with this fucking with this fucking hair looking like that because of the headphones or whatever on there.
Right. Because of the headphones.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But you know what? Actually, he kind of reminds me of Chumlee after Chumlee lost the weight.
So you're saying I'm skinny?
No.
Oh, shit. It's good to be back, guys. So, now that I went kind of in reverse, gave Alli her shout out first, then talked about Logan. National Missing Persons Day.
No, he was already fat. He was fat.
You need to make a template and put the picture side by side.
So, National Missing Persons Day is observed on February 3rd every year. So, this idea for this episode, when I first heard Crime Junkies announced it, so shout out to Crime Junkies, really, really amazing podcast. And I had this.
Listened to an episode.
Oh, I had this idea to do this episode like this. Literally, my idea is what they did already, which I can't say my idea because they did it, but they went a different route. Do yourself a favor, listen to Crime Junkies. They went over, I believe. So you guys are kind of young. But
Yeah.
the early 90s, I believe it was 93, Soul Asylum released
Sorry.
released a song called Runaway Train.
Uh-huh.
And in that video, they put up like pictures of missing children. I believe it was 36 missing children were featured in that video. Since 93, I believe it was 93, 21 have been found. I believe 7 or 8 have been confirmed died, but found but dead, not alive anymore. And I think whatever it was, maybe my numbers are wrong and I apologize, but there was like 6 still remaining. So Crime Junkies reviewed 6 of these cases, and there's not a lot of information on them. So it was they, you know, you said you don't listen to Crime Junkies, but they do a deep dive like Morbid does.
Yeah.
So they did as much research as they could. So again, listen to that. Any help to bring missing people home. Like I said, when I go over these stats, so there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 possible reasons an individual may go missing. This is on the official website. Kidnapping, which is classified as not classified, is that right? Yeah. A child abduction, ransom, human trafficking, or political targets. A forced disappearance, which could be due to corrupt governmental agents or criminal activity. Missing in action during military service or in countries undergoing insurrections or civil unrest. A voluntary disappearance, so a juvenile runaway, people avoiding debt, avoiding law enforcement, or criminal elements involved somehow.
Wait, we can avoid that.
Yeah.
I wish.
And then the last one they reference is involuntary disappearance. Dementia or other age-related incapacity, mental disability, or an accident while alone and away from home.
I just made it wiggle.
So those are the 5. And it says now, by far the most common reason a person is reported missing is kidnapping, particularly of children under the age of 6. According to the Child Find of America, up to 2,300 children. 2,300 children are reported missing every day in the U.S.
Fuck, I was going to say a year.
Right. A month, a week, but no, 2,300 children every day in the U.S.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it's crazy. So in the vast majority of these cases, the kidnapper is a parent, but not the child's legal guardian, and abducts the child from their legal guardian, such as an estranged spouse or from a foster home. In such cases, the child is frequently recovered safely, you know, but it's still reported as a missing child, you know.
Yeah.
I did find an interesting thing about missing persons by state. So this is cool. Not cool, but I mean like interesting numbers. So according to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons, which you've probably heard referred to as NamUs a bunch of times. If you listen to podcasts, if you're a true crime person, you've heard NamUs, and that stands for National Missing and Unidentified Persons. The database, which is funded by the U.S. Department of Justice, more than 600,000 people go missing annually. 600,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Approximately 4,400 unidentified bodies are recovered every year. Unidentified. Nationwide, there are roughly 6.5 missing persons for every 100,000 people. That's through the whole nation. Which
Holy
is insane.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still going on, but I know the last few years there's been like a lot of missing women in Chicago.
Yeah, so I get to that in a little bit, not the whole Chicago thing, but this is interesting. So it says, luckily, the vast majority of missing person cases are quickly resolved. For example, in 2021, there was 521,705 missing person cases were reported, more than 485,000 of which were resolved within the year. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but that's a lot resolved. The number of missing person cases has steadily declined since 1997, when nearly 1 million people were reported missing.
Holy fuck.
In 97, yes.
How are we still around?
Right,
What
exactly.
the fuck?
Which is crazy when you hear other people talk about, man, back in the 80s, this is what I did, and I'm still here. I survived. You know, I would
Seriously.
tell my mom I'm leaving at 5 a.m., and I'd come back at, you know, hey, come back for dinner, you know, and yeah, so that's what
Holy
kind of
shit.
leads into this. As in the past few decades, communication has made it easier to keep in touch with and track people,
Yeah.
allowing missing person reports to fall by over 40%, which, like I said, we're down to like 600,000 from 1 million, which, because, yeah, think about it. Everyone has a cell phone now, and and maybe it's not 100% accurate, but like if someone's tracking your where you're at, maybe you dropped your phone here, but at least know your last location, which is better than, well, I saw him 3 days ago. I don't know where he's at now, you know?
Right.
So in terms of numbers, so in absolute terms, so like just number, not percentage or anything, California has the largest number of missing people at 3,010. However, California's rate of missing persons is roughly average at 7.61 for every 100,000 people. Now, could you guess the highest rate of missing people by far? If you had to guess.
Like the number?
No, the rate, the highest rate. I know, I'll give you a minute to think about it. I'll give you a clue, just what I said about California, even though they have the highest like amount, but it's only 7.61 for every 100,000 people because of their population. So if you think about that way, who has the highest rate, do you think? And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just say a state.
You just want to say.
I'm thinking like Texas.
Okay.
Highest rate of missing people.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd lean towards New York or Illinois.
And that's where you'd be wrong. The highest rate.
It's like some bum.
Yeah, right? Like
Probably.
South Dakota or some
Ooh,
shit.
close. The highest rate of missing persons by far is the sparsely populated Alaska.
Fuck, you know what? And the funny thing is I almost said Alaska. And you know what? You think about it, everybody says, oh, Texas is the biggest state in the United States. No, actually, it's Alaska.
But also Texas is very populated.
Yeah.
So Alaska, this is the number, 163.76 missing people per 100,000. California was at 7.6. This is 163.
Holy shit.
It's probably because of Alaska gets like so many tourists and it's like all wilderness out there and no one knows where the fuck they're going.
And I'll reference I don't know if I can do it justice, but Israel Keys, I've told you about him. He started in Alaska. That's where he finally got found out, is because this girl that he murdered and had hidden in his ice chest and took pictures of her, then made it think like she was alive, but she was really dead, and he painted makeup on her and her eyes open.
Oh, he did the Weekend at Bernie's?
Oh, man. And that he was found because of that in Alaska, but he's creepy. Anyways, so now tiny Rhode Island has the smallest number of missing persons in absolute terms, the amount of people, at only 29 in the whole state.
That's how many people there are in the whole state.
Yeah.
You said Rhode Island?
Yeah, and I believe
See,
these
I
numbers
almost said
from 23.
Connecticut.
So other states with less than 100 missing people, South Dakota, 30, North Dakota, 32, Delaware, 45, New Hampshire, 48, Wyoming, 51, Vermont, 61, District of Columbia, 62. I don't know why D.C. is considered its own state. I don't know, weird. And then Nebraska at 84. So can you guys guess? Okay, here's another one. Go the other direction. So Alaska has the highest. Which state do you think has the lowest rate of missing persons?
Washington State.
Okay. Your guess?
Ooh.
You still have time to change your answer.
I don't remember the ones you rattled off. Did you say Oklahoma in any of them?
I did not say Oklahoma in any
Say
of them.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'll leave it at Washington State, but I'm thinking of a different state too.
The answer is Massachusetts.
Okay, yeah,
At
no, I wasn't
only
thinking of Mass.
2.32 missing per 100,000 people.
Wow.
It's because no one wants to put up with their accent.
Well, plus, you got to figure how densely populated Boston is, you know. So, like I said, New York has millions of people. Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot more missing people. So this is the stat I should have read before the other one. But then it says Rhode Island, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Maryland, Minnesota, South Dakota, Ohio, Virginia, and New Hampshire all have missing person rates under 3.5 per 100,000.
Wow. And you know what? My second state that I was thinking of was Maine.
And I that totally blew my mind because, again, I know population in Chicago is huge, but all the people we hear of missing, I'm like, how are they one of the lowest at less than 3.5? Right. Mm-hmm. So it just that blew my mind. So those are just some numbers I put together to, kind of talk about National Missing Persons Day. It's very, like I said, it's February 3rd. I know we're past it already, but I mean, there's never a bad time to talk about missing people. And like I said, I mean, we're a small podcast. Other podcasts do way more, but again, I cannot give enough props to Alli's Bryce Les Visa story, because if just the right person hears something and sees this guy, it's just, or any of these people that I'm going to go over, like, just,
Yeah, for sure.
it's crazy. So, that being said, in honor of my missing persons people, I had a website that has the 10, what's it called, 10 unsolved missing person cases. So, and again, Bryce wasn't on this list anywhere. And then another website I went to was listed like the 10 most popular missing people, and he wasn't on it at all. I'm like, how's this guy not on 2 lists when everyone I know about knows that story?
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
I mean, I didn't know about it until she did her story.
Oh,
really?
Really? Did Crime Junkies do an episode on that?
They did, and Morbid did.
Yeah, I know
Everyone
Morbid
does.
did. And I know Necronomipod did, I think, too.
I gotta swallow that for a minute. It's all bourbon. It's not even old fashioned in there at all. So the first one I'm going to talk about, Carly Gusse. It's Guse, and then with the apostrophe over the E. So
The chick.
yeah,
So it's Gousset.
there you go. Probably, maybe.
With the little chick.
So this says a more recent unsolved missing person case is that of Carly Gusse. The night before she disappeared, she was seen at a party with friends in a neighborhood not far from her home in Chaffant Valley, California. She called her stepmom in a panic, saying she needed to be picked up from the party. Melissa Gusse picked Carly up from the party and later stated that she seemed disorientated and exhibited paranoid behavior. Once home, it took hours to get Carly calmed down enough to sleep. When Melissa woke up the next morning, October 13th, 2018, Carly was asleep in her bed. This is what bothers me. It doesn't say what time she woke up and saw her in her bed. Because in the very next sentence is, but when she checked on her a second time around 7 a.m., she was nowhere to be found. So, depending on what time she saw her the first time, I don't know what window we're working with there. Law enforcement canvassed the neighborhood and turned up 2 witnesses who said they saw Carly walking towards Highway 6 with a piece of paper in her hand. All of Carly's belongings, including her cell phone, were found at home. Carly had been experiencing problems prior to disappearing. Her father and stepmother acknowledged Carly's history of experimenting with drugs and attending alternative education in order to improve her grades. Despite these factors, there appeared to be nothing that would have prompted Carly to leave the house that morning. Investigators, both in law enforcement and independent firms, continue to search for Carly, while her father, stepmother, biological mother, and the rest of her family wait anxiously for Carly to come home. So that's, again, these are all going to be little snippets, because otherwise if I did research on all these cases, it would be a 10-part series, you know?
Right, yeah.
So I haven't figured out exactly how. I think maybe I might try to post a picture of each person I talk about on Facebook, and then I know usually do the
Yeah.
so that way, because I don't want it to just be a podcast. Hey, listen to us talk about nothing. Please, look at these people. If do yourself a favor, and I mean,
Do your due diligence.
yeah.
Due diligence. Due diligence. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what the fuck I'm trying to tell you.
Just if because I mean, I don't know what the chances are, but someone sees them, wait a minute, I know that person. That's Joe's mom. I see her in the PTA all the time. Some kind of weird shit. Who knows? It's I forgot what I was gonna say.
What the fuck is Joe?
Stacey's
And when the
mom.
fuck did we get ice cream?
It's Stacy's mom. She's got it going on. The next is Teresa Butler.
I thought it was Jesse's girl.
That's Carissa. Teresa Butler's husband came home on January 25th, 2006, to find his wife gone, their 2 young children unsupervised. At the time, the family was living in Risco, Missouri. There were no signs of a struggle nor forced entry, but there were a series of valuable items missing from the home, such as a gaming console, a camcorder, stereo, and Teresa's cell phone and purse. Her car was still in the driveway, and her wedding bands were also at the residence. Investigators were stymied by this mixed bag of a scene. Was it a crime scene, or had Teresa simply left of her own accord, and if so, for what reason? More whirlwind revelations came when investigators realized that Teresa's cell phone made 2 calls after she had vanished. Both calls were to unfamiliar numbers in 2 different Missouri towns. The owners of those numbers both claimed that they had no idea who Teresa was and did not speak to her. 13 years later, there are still no answers in her disappearance. So it's more like 17 years later, because if she said one in 06, so this article was written in 2019. I did do a little bit of research to see if some of these cases were solved yet. They weren't, so they're still unsolved. So, it's even though it's a little bit old information, it's not
Right.
all the way wrong. Then we have Laureen Rahn. In 1980, Laureen Rahn was living with her mother in an apartment in Manchester, New Hampshire. She was last seen on April 26, 1980, at that apartment in the company of 2 friends. When her mother returned home that evening, she had to grope for the door because all the light bulbs in the hallway had been unscrewed. When she entered the apartment, she checked Laureen's room, and she appeared to be asleep in her bed. The next morning, she realized the body she'd seen asleep in the bed was actually one of Laureen's friends, and that friend was clueless as to Laureen's whereabouts. Authorities treated Laureen's case as a runaway, but details that emerged in October of that year cast a different light on the case. Her mother, Judith, noticed 3 calls to a California number on her phone bill that she knew she did not make. One was to a sexual assistant call line for teenagers, helmed by a doctor's wife who took in runaways. Could Laureen be with her? The second number was to a motel run by a child pornographer by the pseudonym Dr. Z, but unfortunately authorities were unable to connect the 14-year-old's disappearance to either of these persons of interest. To this day, what became of Laureen Rahn has still been a mystery. Dun, dun, dun. So she was 14 in 1980. So 44 years later, she would be 58. So, chime in if you guys want to. These are just stories I'm reading because, again, I don't know. I just fell with it being, National Missing Persons Day that I wanted to go over some missing cases.
Yeah.
This one is interesting. Laureen Spierer, S-P-I-E-R-E-R, S-P-I-E-R-E-R, yes, Spierer, an unsolved missing person case that continues to haunt the true crime world is that of Lauren Spierer. The Lauren Spierer case is one of the most mysterious missing person cases. Many Hoosiers are familiar with the cautionary tale of Lauren Spierer at Indiana University, an Indiana University student who disappeared on June 3, 2011 after a night out partying with friends in Bloomington, Indiana. After leaving her apartment around 2:30 in the morning, she walked around the corner and was never seen again. It wasn't until her boyfriend, Jesse Wolf, realized that Lauren had been separated from her phone that something was wrong. When he sent her a text message 2 hours later, one of the employees at Kilroy's bar responded, I'm laughing because there's a Kilroy's in Lansing. People don't know that. Wolf reported Lauren missing. Witnesses who had seen Lauren that night reported that she was highly intoxicated, which might explain why she left both her cell phone and shoes behind at Kilroy's. Her observed level of inebriation has led to speculation that Lauren might have been drugged while at the bar, possibly with a drug like GHB, also known as a date rape drug. Her family has remained suspicious of the men she was reportedly hanging out with that night, claiming that they knew something about their daughter's disappearance. That being said, investigators also spoke to friends of Lauren's who informed them that she was known to use drugs when she partied as well as alcohol. As of January 28, 2016, when an FBI and other investigating bodies searched a property in Martinsville for signs of Lauren with no success, Lauren still remains missing. So that's another interesting one. Bloomington, not far from here.
No.
I think I went there for a tech show.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Is that the one where they threw the monster and I caught it?
Yes, it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was hot as shit.
It was fucking hot as hell. And they threw a monster, and I went to try to catch it, but I'm too short. So it went over my head, and Donnie caught it, and he drank like 3/4 of it, and then he gave me like 1/4 of it. Dick.
Was it cold?
I don't remember.
It was just wet. That's all that mattered because you were hot, right?
Yeah.
I think it was cold because they kept them in coolers.
Nice. What kind of monster? The green monster? The regular?
Green, regular.
Boring.
I don't even think they had any of the, like, the monster that they have
Oh.
now.
No.
Dang, it was that long ago, huh?
Yeah.
The OG monsters. the OG story of Kyle.
Should I? I used to drink the BFC monsters.
Big fucking can.
Yep. It was 64 ounces of
Jesus,
monster.
oh my god.
That was when I had to work a double at the fucking restaurant.
How did you not have a heart attack?
I have no idea.
Heart racing and Jesus Christ. That probably is wrong. That can't be legal.
I was slinging food real quick.
Man. All right, so
Lupe looking like he did a line, but really he just drinks.
right. You just drink 64 ounces of Monster.
I think that's why my tolerance for caffeine is so fucking high. It's stupid.
I know mine's high. Like that's I to this day I'll stick to the story. I never liked to drink coffee. I didn't want to ever have coffee breath. So 21 years old, working for Jake's Potato Chips. My job, I started at 5 a.m. doing what we do now, but with chips. And since I didn't like drinking coffee, I drank Mountain Dew. So I drink 3, 4, 5, 20 ounces of Mountain Dew a day. And so, the sugar and the caffeine in that, and then getting married, having kids, and being less active. That's where my descent into fatness started. All right. So
Anyway.
My next story is Cynthia Anderson. These have all been girls so far, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. The disappearance of Cynthia Anderson is regarded as stranger than fiction. She vanished on August 4th, 1981, from the law office where she worked as a secretary. Oh, you know what? I have seen the whole story about this before, and this little synopsis doesn't do a great job of it. This is a very interesting story. But anyways, her personal belongings were missing, but her vehicle remained parked in the lot. While investigating her disappearance, authorities discovered an open romance novel. In an eerie coincidence, Cynthia had stopped reading during a scene in which the main character is abducted. Police were already investigating Cynthia's disappearance with the possibility of foul play, but this gave them pause. Could she have faked her own abduction to disappear and start over? There were anonymous tips months after her disappearance that she was being held captive in the basement of a remote residence, but authorities were unable to corroborate this statement. The wildest theory about her whereabouts came when a lawyer from her firm was arrested for drug trafficking. There was speculation that Cynthia might have known too much about some illegal dealings going through the law firm and met a violent end as a consequence. But that's all it is, a theory. So yeah, that one, I'm sure a full episode could be done about it. Very, very interesting, that one.
Looked like he was starting to fall asleep.
No, I'm listening to the story.
Now, this next lady, I believe Crime Junkies did 2 episodes this week. The second one, like I said, was all the runaway train kids or people. I'm pretty sure earlier in the week they did one on this lady. This is a fucking weird ass story, and I've just seen updates recently about it that it's still unsolved. Maura Murray, Maura Murray. So, an unsolved missing person case can get so big it invites a great deal of media attention. Maura Murray is perhaps one of the most famous mysterious missing person cases in recent history. The University of Massachusetts Amherst student disappeared on February 9, 2004. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Maura told university staff and her professors that she'd be taking a week's hiatus from school to handle a family emergency. Around 7:30 that night, a car crash on Route 112 was reported to 911. When first responders arrived, the driver, Maura, was nowhere to be found. During the investigation, law enforcement turned up a witness who had passed Maura following the crash. When asked if she needed help, she said no, that she had called roadside assistance. In a window of less than 15 minutes, something happened to Maura Murray. What's most puzzling about Maura's disappearance is that her story about a family emergency could not be corroborated by her family. So the question remains, why was Maura taking a week off from her education? What could have been so important? Maura Murray's disappearance is regarded as the first missing person case of the social media age, having disappeared the week that Facebook launched. Her story has spawned many true crime specials, documentaries, and a highly popular podcast called Missing Maura Murray. So, again, Crime Junkies just did an episode on this. They are touting a brand new podcast started, I think, this week. Maura Murray's sister is doing like a 9-episode, 10-episode like special, releasing stuff that has not been ever released about the case. And there's some fucking weird shit going on at the police department there about the chief that was on duty. Technically wasn't on duty that day, but he said something like, "Oh yeah, the missing female," when they wasn't reported it was a female yet, and he had a DUI later that night. So all this weird stuff. So I don't have the name of that podcast right now, but again, Crime Junkies just this week is promoting it like crazy, and that's something I actually want to start listening to because the story's intriguing. Next up, I have Asha Degree. Asha Degree was just 9 years old when she left her house on the morning she disappeared. Valentine's Day 2000. So we're right around the 24-year anniversary of that. Fuck, 24 years. Jesus. Inexplicably, she had packed her school backpack and left the house in the early morning hours, after which she was seen walking along North Carolina Highway 18 just a little over a mile from her home. First of all, why the fuck is no one stopping a little kid walking alone on a fucking highway? There's assholes, I'm sorry. If you saw a little girl walking, I don't know. That's weird to me. I don't know what I would do, actually.
That it's very touchy because,
right.
It would also be weird if you just stopped next to some
right,
like
child walking alone.
Yeah, you got free candy, kid.
Right.
Either that or, are you injured? Are you hurt? No, I'm good. And then shoot you in the face or some shit.
Right. Well, I wish I would have read the next sentence before I went that far.
Also, 2000 wasn't just 10 years ago?
Nope. Man.
Cool.
When approached by passing motorists who noticed her, Asha reportedly ran into a wooded area just off the highway.
Oh, I thought he was going to say he ran into a wall or some shit.
At first, it appeared to investigators that Asha had run away from home. After interviewing family members, that they learned that the child had been reading a fantasy series about children who have spectacular adventures while the adults are asleep. While it's unclear whether or not Asha intended to return home, early search efforts for her proved fruitless. Belongings of hers, including a pencil, marker, and a Mickey Mouse hairbow, were found near a shed behind a business that sat parallel to the highway. That's creepy to me. About 18 months later, Asha's book bag also turned up at a construction site, curiously double-bagged, leading investigators to think someone other than Asha had left it there. In October 2018, investigators were appealing to the public for information regarding two pieces of evidence: a children's book that was borrowed from the Falston Middle School Library in 2000, and a New Kids on the Block shirt. Asha Degree remains missing to this day. So if she was 9 in 2000 plus 24, she's 33.
Yep.
Yes. So, yeah.
Your age, John.
How old did you say?
33.
Oh, no. Well, you're younger, yeah.
Oh, you're 34.
So.
You old as dirt.
Yeah. Feel like it all the time.
I know you do.
So I only got 3 more left to go. I'm sorry if you guys are bored, but I feel this is important shit. Annette Sagers.
I've heard that name.
If this is the one I think it is, the picture they show for it is not the picture that I'm used to seeing with this. 8-year-old Annette Sagers went missing on her way to school in October of 1988. Less than a year earlier, her mother, Corrine Lynn Sagers Malinowski, had gone missing. There was little evidence to paint a picture for investigators, except that her car was found parked in front of their home. When Karina's daughter went missing as well, which means Annette, they searched the bus stop where she should have been picked up for school. Investigators found a cryptic note that placed her mother's disappearance in a whole new context. It said, "Dad, Mama came back. Give the boys a hug." That just gave me the chills. Holy shit.
Yeah, seriously.
Ugh. Authorities weren't sure what to make of the note at first, as they suspected someone may have forced Annette to write. After careful examination, handwriting experts did determine that Annette likely wrote the note. This looks like Karina could have disappeared of her own accord a year prior and had returned to reclaim her daughter before vanishing again. But what could not be explained was that Karina had left behind 2 boys when she disappeared in 1987. Despite anonymous tips that claimed burial locations for Annette's remains, the mystery of the missing mother and daughter remains unsolved. Crazy.
Yeah.
Super crazy. Tara Calico. So the case of Tara Calico continues to haunt the true crime world, with both investigators and armchair detectives alike speculate to the circumstances surrounding this bizarre case and its sensational clues. So, like Annette Sagers, Tara Calico disappeared in 1988 after leaving her home in Belen, New Mexico, to being a bike ride in Belen, New Mexico, to take a bike ride along Highway 47. Tara was never seen again. In the search for Tara, pieces of her Walkman were found along Highway 47. The bike was never recovered. Leads in the case dried up, and it went cold until a year later, when a disturbing piece of evidence emerged that has become famous throughout the internet. In Port St. Joe, Florida, a woman reported that she had found a Polaroid outside in the parking lot of a local convenience store. This is the one I know. The Polaroid pictured a boy and a young woman, both bound and gagged, propped up against a pillow in what appears to be the cargo area of a panel van. The witness told authorities that a white van had previously been parked in that spot, driven by a white man with a mustache. There is still speculation to this day about whether or not the woman in the photo is actually Tara Calico. The book lying next to the woman in the photo is V.C. Andrews' My Sweet Audrina, which was allegedly one of Tara's favorite books. While no official case for Tara's while no official cause for Tara's disappearance has ever been established, the sheriff of Valencia County offered this theory. He claimed that boys who knew Tara were involved in some kind of accident along Highway 47 involving Tara's bicycle and the boy's truck. However, without a body, law enforcement were unable to make a case. So that one, again, they show this picture of her on this website, but the picture I'm used to is the one of, the lady tied up in the cargo van with the boy. And I think to this day they still have never figured out who the boy is or the lady is.
Jeez.
They say it looks like Tara Calico, but I think if I read in a different article that people that know her say it's not her, so it's fucking weird, man. And then the last one I'm going to reference, Diane Augat, Augat.
I think I've heard that name too.
It says one of the oldest unsolved missing person cases is that of Diane Augat. I don't know how it's one of the oldest when this says in 1998, because the other ones were 1980. Anyways, in 1998, 30-year-old Diane Augat of Odessa, Florida, walked out of her home and vanished without a trace. About 10 years prior to her disappearance, Diane received a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, a mental illness that causes massive mood swings between periods of intense emotional euphoria or highs and deep depression and lows. We know that. Her case was so severe that it led to losing custody of her children and her husband divorcing her in 1991. She self-medicated with drugs and alcohol. On April 10th, 1998, Diane left her home and was never seen again. What followed was a series of strange events that amount to the plot of a Hollywood movie. So just 3 days after she vanished, her answering machine received a chilling message. Help, help, let me out. Followed by, hey, give me that. It sounded as though there was a struggle over the phone in the background. The caller ID said Starlight, but when Diane's mother called back, there was no answer. 2 days after that, the severed tip of Diane's right middle finger was found. 2 weeks later, in perhaps one of the most bizarre events in any missing person case, a bag of her clothing was found in the freezer of a local convenience store. Despite the details reflecting that of a Hollywood blockbuster thriller, there has never been any satisfying resolution to her case. So, again, those were just quick snippets of some cases. So, I mean, it's just...
I think out of all of them, that last one was kind of bizarre.
Yeah. It's insane.
It makes me think of, I don't remember if I said this before, but I watched on Netflix, did you guys see that American Nightmare
Yes.
documentary?
Yes.
That was a weird one, too.
So, speaking of missing story, maybe these are all just in America, but the one, there's that, the disappearance of Madeline McCann. That's I haven't watched that documentary on Netflix yet, but I've heard I think a podcast about her. That's fucking weird. First of all, fuck those parents. Sorry, I don't know the whole story, but they're on vacation wherever they're at in a ground level hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
They go out to dinner at 10 o'clock at night, which, whatever, in Europe or wherever they're at, that's when dinner is.
Oh, I remember that one.
They leave the 3-year-old or 4-year-old girl and twin boys who are younger than her. She's the oldest, while they walk 3 blocks away to eat dinner. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, again, I don't know the whole facts of the story, so I don't want to get myself too pissed off. And I haven't watched the Netflix special yet because, like I said, kid shit bothers me. Like the John Benet Ramsey shit bothers me. I can't hear about kids dying and shit like that. This stuff bothers me. And little kid missing and never been found. And then supposedly where this little girl McCann went missing from, there's a known pedophile that lived like across the street. Yeah. I believe the police detective in charge ended up like years later being charged with pedophilia also. So all kinds of weird shit with that case. It's fucked up.
I was gonna say, Lupe, if you get a chance, I'd say watch it. It's like a 3-part documentary.
The American Nightmare one, yeah.
It's about a guy and his girlfriend were attacked in the middle of the night in their home, and she ends up getting kidnapped.
Yes.
And he becomes the main suspect.
Yes. And then she gets released 3 days later.
Don't ruin it for him.
I mean, it's the first episode.
I would say so. It's fuck is that movie called?
Yes, the Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah.
The cops actually.
The newspaper articles actually call it Real Life.
Real Life Gone Girl.
Yeah, Real Life Gone Girl. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's a fucking interesting Netflix series.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Oh man, you're gonna. Fuck yes.
I'll get Alli so we can binge that.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one, man. So, yeah, that's again. It was a lot of reading. Not our typical episode, but I wanted to, again, I've said it I think 32 times now. I wanted to just shine some light on some missing person cases.
Right.
Again, you can. Doesn't hurt. I look at those whenever I see those posters. I always look at them for the small chance it might be someone I recognize.
You never know.
Right.
I mean, that's the crazy thing about it.
Because whether the people have been kidnapped, and like the one girl that was gone for 18 years and didn't realize she was kidnapped. You never know.
Yeah.
So that's my stories.
And he's sticking to it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. Kind of like a missing 411 that I've listened to different podcasts and stuff like that.
So what's interesting though? I did come across this a few times. What is the longest unsolved missing person case? So I'm like, oh, what is it? Let me see what that is.
40 years.
Close. So close.
I was going to say 30.
So
it's over 40.
43.
Why can't
47.
So it is. Why the fuck? It didn't take me to the right place. So a retired sheriff, Clark, disappeared en route to visit his daughter by stagecoach during the Halloween weekend.
Shit.
His disappearance has a distinction of being the oldest active missing person case in the United States. And it doesn't tell me when. The fuck?
I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. Huh.
Oldest missing person case. Okay. Yeah, 1852.
Jeez.
Well, that's not close to 40 years.
Oh no, he was born in 1852. He disappeared October 30th, 1926. Was an American man who disappeared under mysterious circumstances while en route to visit his daughter in Portland, Oregon during the Halloween weekend. 1926. Clark's case has the distinction of being the oldest active missing person case in the United States.
Thanks for making me feel good, but that's still not close to 40.
No, it's not. Marvin Clark's his name, though. Yeah, the oldest active missing person case in the United States. It's crazy. And then, I don't know, just some random weird shit. Like, you guys know Amelia Earhart still technically is missing.
Yeah, but they found, quote unquote, her plane.
Yeah. Sure they did.
I mean, the only way they'll find out is go down and recover it.
Yeah.
But I mean, how deep is it? Because
And did you hear me talking to Teddy G this morning? Another most famous missing person ever, probably, Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, you told me that when we were walking back. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually another guy that just came out not too long ago saying, "Oh, they'll never find his body." Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
He said something about they put Jimmy Hoffa
Yes, the
in
fuck
one
we
of those
will.
car crushers.
Oh, shit.
Yes, that's what Teddy just told me this morning. He said, you know what they used to do to get rid of bodies back then was they'd put them in the bumper creators. They created bumpers because the heat and everything, nothing ever came out of it. So I'm like, so you're saying Hoffa could be in someone's bumper if some car's probably rusted away? He goes, could be. So, and
He's in everybody's car.
Right. I heard a random, like,
We're all little Jimmy Hoffa.
when I was reading yesterday and doing research yesterday and the day before, I read somewhere that one of the stories was a crime syndicate boss from the New Jersey area claimed that they'll never find his body. I guess at the time they were constructing the Giant Stadium in Jersey. It said he's buried underneath the Giant Stadium in Jersey, and then also supposedly the same guy, or maybe a different guy, but on his deathbed said, "Yeah, I did kill him. I chopped him into a bunch of pieces and just scattered him everywhere." So there's two other stories, So
Yeah, I heard.
The one on his deathbed. That's the one.
In County, right?
No, well, that's the one that Robert De Niro plays in that movie,
The Irishman, right? Teddy told me don't watch the movie. He said it's a waste. He goes, it's not any good.
I enjoyed it.
Huh?
I enjoyed it.
Did you? I mean, if it's a good movie, whether the story's true or not, I don't know.
That's how I am. Like,
Well,
I don't.
the only real not great thing about it for me was all these actors are old as shit, but they use CGI to make them look good.
Oh, nice. He said a real good one is the actual movie called Hoffa. He said that's a good one. He said it's pretty accurate, but yeah.
I think I've seen that one too.
So, yeah.
That was an awesome story. I mean, collection.
Collection.
Collection of stories. Yeah, that's the one where Jack Nicholson plays Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay. Yeah. So I think what he told me.
Does he get attacked by bees?
By bees?
Who'd you say played?
Jack Nicholson.
Oh no, it wasn't Jack Nicholson. Was it Jack Nicholson?
Attacked by bees?
What was the movie where he was attacked by bees?
The Kid?
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
No. Yeah, it was. Oh no, I'm thinking of Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
Never mind.
What movie did he get attacked by bees?
I don't know.
Did you just make a movie up? While you were
Right.
No, I didn't.
Is
Hold
that
on.
the one where beavers bit his leg off?
That is one of the saddest movie parts, though.
Yeah, what's that movie called?
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, Macaulay.
Not Stand By Me. It's
Wicker Man.
Wicker
I
Man?
think
Yeah.
I ain't never seen that one.
Where he wears a basket of bees on his head.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
the one I was thinking of is My Girl.
Yes,
yeah.
My Girl. Yes.
He can't see without his glasses.
It's a tough
Gets
part.
me every time.
Ooh.
Tough part. He needs his glasses.
You know, have you ever seen it was where it's the boy and a girl, like they're very poor, but they walk across in the field and they make believe all the time, and it's kind of a kids movie, and the kid's name is Aaron Oliver Jesse or something, but it's my brother's name but in like a different weird order. And God, like the bully at school is the ogre in his make believe land and all this shit. That's another sad one too towards the end. So
Shrek?
no.
Shrek.
Is it
Get out of my swamp!
Bridge to Terabithia.
yes, Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I've never seen that. I've heard of it, but
It's a
I've
good
never
one.
seen it.
It's a good
I
one.
did
man.
see Encanto for the first
It's
time.
amazing, isn't it?
It was all right.
Just don't talk about Bruno.
That's what I sent him too, because he sent me a Snapchat of it. I was like, "Don't talk about
The
Bruno."
grandma pissed me off.
Never
Man,
seen the movie.
You haven't seen it either?
Nope.
You don't have kids either, so.
Yeah.
But
I
usually
thought-
you watch Disney
I
shit
thought,
though.
Yeah.
I thought you have. The one you saw is the guitar one.
Coco. Whoa.
I haven't seen.
We don't talk about Coco
We
either.
don't talk about
We don't talk
Coco.
about Coco.
I haven't seen that one either.
No.
But
Coco.
the
Coco.
fucking- the
You know what,
grandma-
Donnie?
the grandma-
You wanna ugly cry? Watch Coco.
Oh, every time. I don't care if I've seen it 32 times.
See, movies don't really get me like that, except for what's its name?
The dog's purpose.
A Dog's Life, A Dog's Purpose. Yep.
Glad Lupe and Nikki were out of town for that. But yeah, so Encanto, Grandma's a fuck.
Well, yes.
Tell you what,
I have to watch it. Like, I mean, I don't have Disney Plus
not
anymore.
for punching old people, but
Right.
she'd get it.
She is the family trauma.
I'm not for punching old people, but she could get it.
It's going on a T-shirt.
Yeah, seriously.
If anything, they shouldn't talk about Grandma. Bruno's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, Bruno's cool. Bruno is Jeff DeLazer. Were you in that text I said?
No.
I've done that? Oh, I will show you.
I also didn't know John Leguizamo voiced a character in that.
Yeah.
Mambo Mouth. If you know, you know.
He was either... Who was he? Was he Bruno?
Yes. I'm pretty sure he was Bruno. Yeah, that's his voice for Bruno.
It's like...
Yeah, if you grew up on him, you know who Mambo Mouth is.
It's like... yeah, because the voice of... what was the main character? Maribel?
Yeah.
The voice of her dad was Wilmer Valderrama.
Yep.
I like Wilmer.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
It makes me think of that one movie. I've never hit a child before, but... Was it Role Models?
Yes.
No, was it?
Yeah.
The Adventures of Boob Man.
I think that's when they're having the Michael Jordan LeBron debate.
Yes.
Fuck LeBron. Well, gentlemen.
What a good episode. That was pretty good. I like that.
Glad. I'm glad.
I you know what, I've always been into like the whole missing cases, like especially like some people more not just kids, but like people in general going missing in our national parks and stuff like that.
Yes. Well, and that's, what I didn't touch on earlier, the whole Alaska one, it's, if you know enough about missing people, a high percentage of missing persons is indigenous people. So again, Alaska has a lot of Eskimo, and then it's so spread out, and again, the way I read the 5 different ways of missing people, it doesn't always have to be kidnapping and murders. Maybe they fell in the ocean or in an iceberg somewhere in Alaska, who knows, but
Right.
Fell in an iceberg.
I don't know.
Fucking Sasquatch or
Yeah.
abominable
Abominable
Snowman out
Yeah,
there,
thank
something,
you.
who knows, but then, it's again, other podcasts have touched on it where the lesser, what people consider lesser people don't get investigated as much. Like prostitutes and indigenous people and homeless people are never investigated.
That's why even here, natives don't get.
Mm-hmm. That's what indigenous people is.
I know. But you were talking about Alaska.
Yes, indigenous people everywhere.
I know.
So, alrighty.
With that being said, good episode.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
I'll be back in another month when I go to Puerto Rico again.
Plot twist: Don's gonna go to Puerto Rico. Dan is gonna go to Puerto Rico every other month.
Yes, that would be fucking amazing. And my skin will be never ending, peeling and burning.
If you're gonna keep your hair like that, can you go as Chumlee for Halloween?
I'm going as Fat Roman Reigns or Fat Seth Rollins. Lupe's trying to think of something and can't.
Yeah, no. Nope. You can find us on all your major podcast platforms. Instagram at impulsivethoughts_pod.
Facebook, Impulsive Thoughts.
Twitter, Don doesn't want to mention
On
it,
the
but
link
it's on
tree.
our link tree. Which you can find on our Instagram.
Yep. Snapchatter.
Yeah, I haven't really did much on the
YouTuber.
Snapchat.
YouTube.
Same with YouTube.
Snapchat.
I haven't done anything.
TikToker. Yeah, not Snapchat. I keep wanting to say TikTok, not
Yeah,
Snapchat.
TikTok, yeah.
TikTok.
I haven't really touched the TikTok.
Duh. Today, Junior.
The TikTok.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, joined here with some of my favorite co-hosts, Mr. Donnie Rowe to my right,
See ya.
and Dano to the left, with a really good episode.
Simón, gracias, de nada.
Hashtag missing 411.
Adios, vaya con Dios. I'm getting back in my Puerto Rican roots now.
Oh,
Even though I'm not Puerto Rican at all.
Here we go.
I got Puerto Rican hair. You ever seen that one? Oh my God. That is one of the funniest TikToks Jamie's ever seen me. It's this lady.
Wait, hold on. Funniest ever TikToks Jamie has ever seen me.
Oh, fuck.
I think he just had a stroke.
I think this fucking old fashioned is too strong for me.
The funniest
Ever
ever
shown me.
TikToks that Jamie's ever seen me.
Danny might need to spend the night. I don't know if he can drive home. I know we already did the buys, but real quick, are you guys going to watch that documentary for Yolanda?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have to. I feel like it's an obligation.
Just so you can curse at her the whole time?
Yes.
I don't know.
She's up for parole in the next
right, that's why I think why it got
That's-
released, right?
Yeah, that's why they're doing it, I think. Yeah. But it's funny because I keep seeing these TikToks. It's just the one scene of, I don't know if it's like the trailer for the documentary, but it's like basically her saying, I got to tell my side of the story. Mm-hmm. And then it'll cut to people doing different, like this one, it cut to this one lady. She just went, oh, hell no, and started taking her earrings off.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, this story might be a good story. You know, it might side on the Selena side. I don't know.
Doubtful.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know.
But, all right, we did our sign up.
Peace.
Don't believe everything you think. Thanks, Don.
Yeah, thinkers out there.
Thinkers, we need some feedback on Facebook. Like, we haven't heard from many. Not even, I mean, Jesse, yeah. Right?
Jesse
Maybe?
said you don't.
Kinda.
Jesse Lupe just said you don't count. Say we haven't heard from anybody. Yeah, we have the same 3, 4. Jesse, Marisol, Carissa.
Yeah, and then the random Brittany.
Yeah.
And Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Eric.
Osborne lately has been. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric.
Oh.
Oz Marley.
Also, one other thing. Sorry, Jesse, but the video of him fucking falling is one of the funniest things I've seen.
So when I first initially watched it, I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I watched it like 3 or 4 more times, and I'm like, fuck.
What's funny is I have a tendency when I see something on Facebook, I'll read everyone's comments too. And what made me okay to laugh at it more was all of Jesse responding to people when he's like, yep, I had to laugh at myself. But he's like, when you watch it a second time and he's like, oh, and the noise he makes, and someone commented like you see him like pop up and like test walk, and he's like, like, yeah.
You know you're over 30 when
Well, but he went to the ER for that, or the
I heard.
And so I don't know if you've talked to him since then, but he said in the next week or 2 he's supposed to go to Arizona, I believe, for something Harley related, and then the week after somewhere else that must be warm because he's supposed to test ride the 2024s. So if his fucking tailbone is bruised, he can't fucking ride a bike with that still, you know. He's like, fuck, I need to get better so I can ride these new Harleys.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we already signed everything out, so all right, guys. We will catch you next week where I cover a pretty big episode myself.
I'm excited for this one with the little few hints you've given me.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the extras you're going to bring in too to hear their side.
Yeah, I've been fucking doing all kinds of research for the last like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
So
It's a good one, man.
yes, I'm excited. So,
Yeah.
but all right, guys. That being said, after I said that already, I think the 3rd time.
Yeah. Don't believe everything you think again.
That too. You know, Instagrams, platforms, and Spotify's, and Donnie's Linktree,
Podbean and
Donnie's Spicy Links, and yeah. All right, guys. We out this bitch, and don't believe everything you think, and I'm your favorite host of the most. Bye.
peace.